First time, welcome. I am Latanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. And I have a very special show for you today on this solar eclipse. What a divine setup this is to have this conversation and this discussion at this time with such a beautiful soul. And so I'm going to do a unique introduction because I'm about to introduce to some, present to others, a brother I have known for many years. But this solar eclipse, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to guide him through because, listen, we could go in so many directions. So I'm going to ask you to give us permission up front to go over a little bit if we have to, because literally, it is such a beautiful thing to have people in your life that you can talk to about so many different things. And so with this brother I'm about to present to you, for some of you all who have not been following the announcements, we're talking about personal development, which shows up as astrology, tantra, sex magic, uh, uh, living abroad. Now we're talking plant medicine. And the reason why, now I can talk about that with many people that I know, but it's very few people, and particularly coaches and male coaches who you have been friends with for many years, and that you can kick game to each other. If I know it, then you know it. If I got it, you got it. And so I want to present to you all my dear friend and brother, Sifu Ohi. Did
I thought I had 30 more seconds to light my incense. I was like, with all this introduction right here, I said I'm gonna need 2 incense.
Welcome to Ship Talk finally. I have my fleur de lis clapper. My I think I have too much light. Can you imagine? I have too much light in the background, and so it's drowning me out. What an analogy. So listen, now, brother, I'm gonna tell you, I've told everybody, who you are to me. And I know your resume is extensive, and I do not want to de-edify any other uh pieces of your work that you want people to know you by. But that literally could take up the whole show. So give us a blurb, just in your own words, and then I want to jump in because when I did this show, I'll tell you that later. After you do who you are and edify yourself about in any way that I did not edify you, I want the audience and your friends to hear who you are and why you are.
You want to make it emotional right away. You. I ain't gonna say you wrong for that because I have to. We did a hypnosis class last night, and who I am is a person who is in the present. I am not in the future. I don't look like my past, and I'm my mama's firstborn.
Ah,
Uh, I am my father's third child, and I am my ancestors' wildest dream, and I am your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer if I'm not your favorite. Uh, and I am also a Yi Ming Zhu ambassador, which I never in a gazillion years would have imagined that this particular title or this particular service of Asian and ancient, even ancient African, like pre-Mansa Musa, would be something that I would be involved in. Man, I'm a world traveler. I am. I'm also a 3-time felon. My teacher told me. My teacher told me. He said, "You are no longer a criminal, but you have a special set of skills." A lot of people know me as Coach Khayr.
yes.
I changed my identity in when I turned 50 years old at half a century, because I'm nosy. And my other introduction piece is, I also am the founder of Relaxation is the Key, where you can just chill out. and that's the theme, is living free, relax. Tantra, Tai Chi, martial arts, I Ching, human design, Gene Keys, all of that came out of my tantric and martial arts background with Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati. So I do have a real lineage that goes back to Babaji. So if you've read Science of, uh, if everybody knows, what's the cat with the long hair? Self-realization school, Yogananda. So Yogananda learned from Sri Yukteswar. Sri Yukteswar learned from Lahari Mashi. Lahari Mashi got it from the great mystic Babaji. And so that's my particular lineage right there through Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati. Born in DC, raised in North Carolina. I live in Bali, and currently I'm visiting the United States. And I'm in Fayetteville, Georgia.
Yeah.
I got a little tour coming up, and I've been doing mushrooms since 2018. I'm a mycologist. Yeah, and the rest of it will just come out in the wash. Oh, and I'm the founder of the Cosmic Dojo, as everybody can see right down below. Yes.
Yes. So that's why, because he is not afraid to talk about who and what he has done, because he's done the work. And so that's why I wanted him to edify himself. So we got to think. No, Cosmic Jedi, I think, is an actual good title to sum all of that up. But one of the things that I want, just want to acknowledge is, I'm sure you've watched me in the marketplace the same way that I've seen you, and you've grown. And so, yes, I knew you as Khayr, and you went from Khayr L to Khayr Love to did I leave out anything? Because
Coach K.
Well, that part. But the point is, all of those have some spiritual significance to take us to our conversation about journeying. Because I've called in my brother, because I thought the time difference, he would have been here much sooner. I thought the time difference in Bali was going to be a challenge when I really started these conversations, but it is right in the divine right timing right now. And today, let's talk a little bit about this solar eclipse before we get to the plant medicine, because I want to go from now, this present moment, about the solar eclipse, just because it's such an auspicious day. For me personally, it is my dad's ascension day. Normally, I don't work. I don't do any work. I'm still. I sit down, I listen. Sometimes I put his things, I honor him. I put his things out, or I get really still and listen for what he asked me to do. And so I almost canceled this show. So I know, or rescheduled this show, but when I didn't realize that the solar eclipse was going to fall exactly on his day. And then last week, the moon, the lunar eclipse was on my mother's birthday. So I know that this show is going to be powerful, y'all. So can you just say a little bit, again, your view from your professional lens? And welcome back to the States, by the way. Are you enjoying the show?
Oh, I'm enjoying. That's the best question, and the shortest answer is, and I was talking to somebody about what show I'm enjoying, and I don't think that the people see the show that I'm seeing, and which could be disheartening, but it's great for me that I can see. It's great for me that I can see.
I see some good stuff.
I see a lot of great stuff too. Yeah.
Can you talk about that, and the moon and the eclipse and all this good stuff, the new moon?
Oh man. So my religion, everybody, is sequence of events. So a lot of people be like, oh, he be talking about Alhamdulillah and Allahu Akbar, and he be talking about Elohim, and he be doing prayers in Hebrew. But my religion is the sequence of events. And when you look at eclipses, you need to think of the last syllable, which is clip. Clip. Whenever I see eclipse, whether it's lunar or solar, I don't get caught up, because unfortunately for you Americans who are watching this right now, you look at everything through a very influenced social media type thing. And these people on social media don't know astrology, and then they feed you whatever you will click on and share for likes. But eclipse means to cut out. So my team in the dojo, my spiritual team, we don't do rituals the day before, the day of, and the day after. We can celebrate it by sitting still, because when the grass is getting cut, you ain't supposed to be out there running in front of the lawnmower. Remember when if you're from the country, it'll be lightning outside and you be wanting to move around the house, and grandma would say, sit down somewhere. God is at work. And so during eclipses, naturally, it's just removing things out of your life. This is naturally. But in America, it's very crazy that y'all still don't believe in sorcery, or y'all still don't believe that there are immortals. There are people on this planet that are well over 1,000 years old, and they do very, very dark energy work, dark energy magic, and they use eclipse to harvest your energy. So for me, my energy is my commodity. My energy is so precious, so I sit it down. So I'm below the knife. They can't get me because I ain't standing up, looking up. Like when that big eclipse came last year or earlier this year, everybody was like, "Oh, it's on the path. I want to be outside." You were voluntarily saying, "Let me scoop this energy up from these dark forces," and you have to be a powerful, concentrated shaman, magician, practitioner to protect yourself from these cats. And some people, the 1-2% are, but the majority are not. So for me, I celebrate eclipses by watching them remove the things from me, the obstacles. My phrase is, I let my magic do my heavy lifting. And so Mercury retrogrades, eclipses, going into equinoxes and in different seasons of the year, this is magic doing the heavy lifting that I don't have to do. In this, I look at life like you got to be surfing. Your knees got to be soft, and you got to be nimble, and you got to keep your head on a swivel. And the eclipse happens for you wherever the moon falls. I was just looking to be like, where is it at in my chart? So the moon, it's happening right now too in Libra. So Libra is my second house. So you need to know where the eclipse is happening for you. People be talking, oh, eclipse is going to do this, is going to do that. It can't do nothing outside of the house it's in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my house, Latanya's in her house. She don't know if I got my shoes on or not. I don't know if she got pants on or not. But she in her house, I'm in my house. So the eclipse is happening in my second house of values and money. So it's removing the blockages for my money. I don't know, like, if you're a Libra, what does that mean? It depends on what's your rising sign.
Holler at us, Libras, because we got two. We got the twin Libras in the comments today, to Tanya and Sonia from New Orleans. So that's my family. You know that, right?
It's my people. No, I didn't know y'all was family, but no, that's my peoples. You can't
No,
stop trying
baby,
to.
they know you. They know you because of me.
I walk. Okay, well, there we have it. Well, then we all family. And I have 3 planets in Libra, so I'm a Libra today too. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
I'm a Libra rising. So look at here. We're being twins today then.
Winning.
Twinning.
Yes, Mayat in the
So that's
building.
good.
Also, when you think Libra, think Mayat. So when you
That's
think
right.
Mayat, you have to think justice. Now
That's
you
right.
put it together and just make a sentence. Eclipse injustice. Eclipse Mayat. Have you Googled or went to ChatGPT and said, show me the 42 laws of Mayat? Today would be an excellent day for everyone. And then your father on this Libra and you reflecting on the 42 laws of Ma'at for your father. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be for me. I'd be like, oh, that's a nice, simple, safe study. I'm not gonna call it a ceremony or ritual, but it's a nice reflection to sit down and have a conversation like this right here. So when I get deeper into eclipses, I'd have to have a person's birthday, and now I add human design in there, and it get real funky. It get real,
Yeah,
real.
I know. We're not gonna go that direction today. I actually have a surprise for you as to because I know this part of the conversation is gonna take up most of the time. But tell us how before we get to having the plant medicine one-on-one conversation, tell us, brother, about the how you, because let's talk about journeys. Your names represent a journey. Do you mind sharing a little bit of what led you to plant medicine? If you just looked at your names, can you see a pattern, or can you see your steps being ordered?
I would say my energy and what led me to plant medicine. I'm a life path. I would have to start with my energy first, then go to the names. So my life path is a 3. And according to Nick Yama's system, your life path is also your Enneagram number. So I've been competitive since I got here. Since 1970, I've been competing. And I don't like finishing last. Even if I don't finish first, I'm going to make the person in the front run faster. And my doctor gave me a book called The Psychedelic Gospels. And I saw some white people going all over the world to all the temples of the world that I have been studying all my life. And they were noticing mushrooms on the wall. And I got competitive right there and was like, how the hell did I miss that? I'm supposed to be a scholar. I'm competitive in everything, shooting pool. It don't matter, cutting grass. My lines got to be straighter. It's crazy. It's more under control now. And I was like, oh, I got to find out, like, well, if mushrooms are in my history, I must go and explore. And I was 48 years old. And I'm going to tell you, and I did it on my birthday. And then with my doctor, I keep emphasizing that. My doctor was the one who gave me 5 grams of golden teachers. And then the next morning I woke up and I was mad at everybody, LaTanya. I was mad at Senora. And what you mad for? Because somebody should have tied me up and made me take mushrooms in my 20s.
Okay, I'm with you.
The healing that I got in one night, the revelations and all of that, it broke up the stiff, like when you see like some dirt and it used to be mud and then it came into like dry clay, then you gotta like shake it up so it can break loose. That's why, like, if you put mud on your arm and let it sit there, but then when you flex, you can see the mud coming off.
Yes.
That's where I was at. And it was the next day, not during the ceremony, but the next morning. And before I could even catch my feet, Dr. Amsu in Winston-Salem, I'm going to call him all the way out, he says, oh, we have to learn how to grow these. I was like, what you talking about? He said, because we eventually have to take 20 grams of mushrooms, and that's going to be expensive. I said, well, I be killing house plants, so I don't think this is a good idea. Who am I going to learn from? And he said, Kalindi E.
Okay. Now stop right there, because you about to go all the way in, and I want to show. I have a little surprise for you, a little clip for you. Okay. You like, what is it, right?
You play too much. Please press play.
Okay, so can you see it? Can you all see it?
I can't. I'm just me.
Okay. I'm playing with my tech skills here. Okay, here we go. I got it. You said, you already see it. Okay, here we go.
Intelligence through hallucinogens, basically mushrooms. I'm a mushroom guy. That's my thing. I don't look at mushrooms as a medicine, but as a tool of exploration. Ayahuasca may be a medicine. Salvia, well, no, salvia is not a medicine. Salvia is just crazy. A lot of them may be medicines, but the first and primary utilization of hallucinogenic mushrooms and the psilocybin. I'm one of the firm believers that mushrooms are extraterrestrial. They are hyperdimensional, extra-dimensional. They come through from different dimensions into interstellar space and have embedded themselves in and on the earth. And when man and woman walking across the earth encountered these as something that they thought would be food, they found that food would give them something more than just a little bit of nutrition, because hunters and gatherers moving along newly deposited grasslands found that these mushrooms, while they were following the cattle, gave other things than just that nutrition. They gave a mystery that is still a mystery to this day. And they really had a better handle on it than we did, because we're trying to intellectualize it. We're trying to put it into a place where we can understand it. And you can't understand it. There are no experts in this field, not one. The experts haven't been born yet. This is the beginning of this thing, the infancy. People try to malign the 1960s and say, oh, the 1960s, they were doing it wrong. Timothy Leary and the others, they didn't, no. They did what they did in the time that they were in with what they had. And anytime you birth in a baby, there's going to be a little bit of agitation. There's going to be a little bit of pain. But when that baby comes, you're happy with the baby. And this is the toddler stage of this community that we're in now. You're the pioneers of what we're in as far as psychedelics is concerned. So getting into this, as I said, these things are not of this earth. They're included in the earth as a mnemonic device, a device of memory. Helena Petrova Blavatsky called it the Akashic Records.
Ashe.
Ways that we access these are through being able to utilize the tryptamine hallucinogens, DMT, mushrooms, ayahuasca,
Ashe.
and these type of things. But the things with the others is that DMT is too quick, which Andrew is working on, He's trying to extend the trip. Ayahuasca is kind of hard to get enough in you. Mushrooms at high dose are the quintessential hallucinogen of this earth. There's nothing like it at high dose. It will also do what all of the other hallucinogens will do at certain doses. It will take you to the realm of the ancestors.
Ashe.
High dose mushrooms is a DMT trip for 2.5 hours. You just have to be able to stay in the space. It's not 15 minutes. You smoke DMT, you go into DMT land. By the time something walks by, or you see 2 or 3 things, you're coming out of the trip. And then by the time a few more minutes come by, it's dissolving. In the next few minutes, you're back saying what happened. I knew some guys, they were talking about, we were smoking DMT and looking at Beavis and Butthead. I'm saying, if you're smoking DMT and you break through, how are you looking at Beavis and Butthead?
Right.
How are you in the room? How's the TV there?
Right.
Because when I smoke DMT and I hold it to the last minute, everything that's there, that's in the physical, so-called real reality, dissolves away. It's no longer there. You're someplace else, but it's not long enough. With high dose DMT and 30 grams, 40 grams, 50 grams, dry grams, not, as they say about me on the internet, well, Kalinda E, he takes 5 grams every other day and then says at the end that he's taking 40 grams. No, you take and eat 40 grams in one setting at one time. And it's like my brother said, it's bitter. I don't like the taste of it. But you chew and you chew and you chew. You can't get it the way you want it. It's not nice. It's not fun. 40 grams of mushrooms is not fun. You're not going to be in there, oh, well, I had some butterflies and bubbles and, the fairies came through and hugged me and I had these divine beings come through and kiss my third eye and it just burst into revelry. No. There are times that happens, but then there are times that are dark, that are malevolent, that are serious.
Yes.
And you have to be able to stand these places. And it's not so much standing it, it's going back again after you've been there. That's the thing. It ain't going, because anybody can go. It's when it calls you back and you say, damn, I got it.
So I'll stop sharing. Right. I think that's a good space to pick up. And I wasn't looking at the screen, but did I hear you? Did I touch something inside, brother?
No, he did.
He did. Okay. Yes. Ashe. Ashe. So we're witnessing the impact of Baba Kalindi. Peace and blessings upon him. If you all are somewhere, just pour a little libation and speak his name, because he was a powerful teacher. And I can speak for Oyi right now, just for a little bit. He had an opportunity to work with Oyi. And when you've done this kind of work and you have the kind of transformation, it is a rebirth. And so we're not going to get to 40 grams right now in the conversation, but we are going to walk there. I had no idea that it was going to touch you like this. But I give thanks for the authenticity that you're willing to share in your spirit and your soul. And the name of this show, everybody, while our brother just gets his win, is Guided Journeys, right? Guided plant medicine journeys versus DIY. And we started this conversation when we were talking about shamanism and other conversations we've touched on, and then everybody in the community wanted to have this conversation. And I remember when you called me, brother, and you said, "Have you done it?" And I said, "Yeah." Well, you reached out to me and you said and you said, "Okay." I remember when you were just starting, and when I say you took off and became one of the pioneers, and you are continuing his legacy.
I'm a storyteller. That's the part I left out in the beginning about not just a griot, not just from the streets, but my degree is in professional history. So I'm certified to tell this. I am also a Sangoma. So I'm a shaman in the Sangoma lineage.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell stories, right? And this probably would be the shortest way for me to get this particular piece. I call it the reason I'm so emotional is because of my religion sequence of events. When I was learning Tantra and martial arts, Sunyata Saraswati came out of the back one day and said, "Today we're going to learn African Kung Fu." And we looked at each other and was like, African Kung Fu? Now this is 2002, 2003. And I had never heard of Kalindi. And he taught us this whole system to go along with these other fighting styles, right? And maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I saw Kalindi on a YouTube video. He was doing what he taught us, what Sunyata taught us, but he was so sweet and so nasty with it. And I was just like, oh, that's where it came from. And I started looking for Kalindi for years, couldn't find him. Fast forward to 2018, 16 years later, I'm calling Kalindi to get this video on how to grow mushrooms, which I still have. And matter of fact, I learned to grow mushrooms through the video, and then I would pester Kalindi. Am I doing it right? Am I doing this? And he was like, "I know you ain't got no kids." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because you ain't got no patience." And I got his genetics, the Tamarian blues, which I want to specifically say right now is a combination. You can't find any information on this strain on the internet because it was given to him by a Ghanaian priest and a South African priest. He came back to Detroit and put them together and created what is affectionately known as Tamarian blues. And if you know anything about genetics, to have genetics, what's your girl, the black lady, they still using her cells right now?
Henrietta Lack.
Henrietta Lack. So guess what? What you think mushroom genetics can do if they still pulling genetics from her, right? So I do have his genetics. I like to exclusively grow his genetics, and they started having profound effects on me, growing them and digesting them. And then he used to say, you can't sit for somebody if you haven't done what they're doing. And that was the whole principle of even why you're inviting me on here now to talk about do we that one sentence. And
Yeah.
because I want everybody to experience this. And he was like, well, you have to get to 9 grams if you're going to sit for somebody at 9 grams. He said these white PhD people are talking about mushrooms like they know, and they ain't even done a 3.5 grams. They ain't even done an eighth. And so I was like, I'm a 3.5 in human design, so I have to know and do, and I'm kinesthetic, so I have to do it. So I did my 5, I did my 7, I did my 9, I kept going. And then I sat for my girlfriends first. And then we did 13 interviews. Me and Kalindi and Fireward and Amstel did 13 interviews on my podcast.
Oh, really?
And yes, 13 interviews. And when you listen to it now, it is almost scary and eerie of the things that he was talking about then. And it was like, did you know that you were going to leave? And after every show, people would say, this is how I got in. It would say, oh, will you sit for me? Oh, will you sit for me? Oh, I was like, I only got a 2-bedroom and I got a roommate. And if you ain't my girlfriend, no, ain't nowhere in the world you laying in my bed doing no mushrooms. I'm sorry. And Latanya would be like, well, I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what's going to happen. So if my girl, of course, I'm going to sit for her, right? And then Kalindi comes to Atlanta to teach his last class on how to grow mushrooms and to do his last lecture. And I hosted him in Atlanta. And then he leaves, he passes away. I become very angry at him. You ever become angry at a dead person?
Really? It's my daddy's ascension day.
We had plans. I talked to Kalindi that morning at 11 o'clock, and at 3:30 he was gone. Okay, so I had a whole issue. And anyway, but Kalindi started moving things in my life at that moment that I was unaware of. And look at my hands as I'm just sitting there talking, and my hands is moving slow. And that's what he was moving in my life. And he opened up things to just know, just like crazy. And I immediately went from a little old 2-bedroom to this huge 4-bedroom house. And he introduced me to Dr. Jerry. I started doing Bufo. I was Dr. Jerry's assistant. And then I moved into this house and I created something called the Jin Jin Room. And it was a place where people could finally come and I could hold ceremony for them in what I call a red carpet experience. Why? Because this whole thing about who do you go to for your therapy? If you go to a white guy or a white person, they're going to have their culture in their office. So when you finish, you're going to open your eyes and you're going to see Jesus and Moby Dick, and you're going to see, you're going to see images. But you just came back from this place. You just came back from this place of like, oh, but you look up and then all of a sudden you say, white Jesus? What's or Moby Dick? So from Kalindi, I said, I'm going to make this room look like the inside of a pyramid. And just the artwork in that room cost me about $5,000. The artwork, because it was wall to wall. The paint, everything in there was to make you realize that you were home. And I didn't even have to advertise to Black people. It was already, they trusted me, one, because I was Black. And this was during COVID and everybody was doing mushrooms, but there was a group that was doing DIY. And then there was a group that was catching flights to Atlanta. And I met all the most amazing people who were into self-discovery and fixing their relationship. And they would come and why was it called the Jin Jin Room? My sister's name is Jennifer. And my sister's not doing nothing that I suggest. But if you tell her the same thing I said, she'll be like, oh, girl, that sounds like a good idea. Okay. And I was like, one day she gonna want to come here. So we used to call her Jen. So that's the first Jen. And then Kalindi talked about the J-I-N or the D-H-J-I-N. And the Jen test you at high doses of mushrooms. They're not dangerous. They're just testing you. And in that room, I got tested because I had to go first. And everybody that came through there went first. I mean, was tested. And I was like, when my sister is ready. So if anybody wants to know what's my why, it's for when because the healing and the traumas that I got, my sister got too. So when my sister does say, hey, I like to try this, I'm gonna be ready. Cause I'm big, cause I'm a big brother. You know what I'm saying? And
right. Well, wait a minute, because no, we gotta let's bring it in a little bit, because there are some people who are watching who've never experienced mushrooms. So I don't want to go all the way into the deep. I see, but Kalindi is the deep end. Baba Kalindi is the deep end. So I took you there, but I want to come back up to the shore a little bit of your first experience. Where did you start?
On my birthday, May 17th, 2018, I was, huh?
What dosage did you start?
5 grams, first time ever. No
Okay.
microdose.
So
Well, wait. A long time ago, somebody came to Senyata's class and had some mushrooms, but I was a big weed smoker, and they gave them to me, but we didn't weigh it out, and I felt a little something, but I had eaten food, so I never really even count that because I never went back to it. Somebody just came in, everybody did it, so that was my first, but I didn't have no experience to talk about. I barely remember.
Was it a guided journey?
Hell no. We was in there drinking Heinekens.
No, not the
smoking.
first one. Not that one. I want to focus on the sacred journey that you the
Oh,
first
the
time.
sacred journey. No, but it's good that people. No, it's good that people hear that because they do that too and be like, "Oh, I've done mushrooms." Nah.
And they do. You're right. They do. People, especially people who were into drug culture, and I say drug culture lightly with no judgment, but I mean it in the context of recreational use. And there are a lot of good girls in my tribe who've never done any of this, and they're afraid and all of that. And so, and there's a lot of people in your tribe that you sat with or that you've been talking and teaching about it. So the first time you had a guided journey, what was the difference between that and a one that was not guided?
Girl, you asked a tough question right there. It was the world of difference. What you mean? It was a whole nother. Oh, I had pre-integration. I had somebody who cared about me. I had set and setting. We went at nighttime, which Kalindi verified. Mushrooms work better in the dark, especially at high dosages. I didn't know how many. I was just following instructions. I didn't know till the next day it was 5 grams. I was safe. I was comfortable. I was there with a doctor. So, I was there with a trained professional who has years of ayahuasca experience, years of mushroom experience. And it was loving, it was supportive,
Thank you.
very, and fun. Let me throw the fun in there. Now, I could go on with fun. I'm gonna just do 10 seconds. It was so fun. I'm talking about there was nothing scary, nothing horrific, no nothing. When it first came on early on, I told myself one thing. I said, this person will not put me in a situation to die. So relax. And I relaxed my shoulders, and the rest of it, is a whole nother podcast. That's a movie. And then it was
I agree, but so I want to. There are some people who have experienced mushrooms in the comments. I want to get what dosage did you start? I want to kind of take a temperature check of those of you who have had the experience. Where did you start? I mean, there are some people who start at just half, and some people do 1.5. Some people do 2, 3. So how those of you who have had an experience, where was your first starting point? The point is, I want those of you who are weighing the options. There are a lot of people, and we're going to talk about the different types of plant medicine, because we're not just talking about mushroom today, because our brother here has experience with several other types, and I want to be able to get that in that conversation in with him as well. So, okay, so we got 5 grams in the comments. Okay, The traveling Sangoma. I know who that is. What's
Bazani.
Tazani? See, that is my sister, Reverend.
Our sister. There you go again, trying to jack family members.
Here we go. Another one that you met through me. But that's okay. We are family. So this is we're doing our job. We're bringing our worlds together.
Got to be wonderful too if we arguing over who know her first. She must be dope. She must be dope.
And so Monique says she started with the heroic 5 grams. Okay. And then who is this? So someone said, let me catch that. We got 1 gram in the family here. We have 2.8 in the family here. All right, 5 in the family here. Okay. All right, 7 in the family. Come on, keep it going. I really should have done some kind of auction or giveaway for the highest dosage other than Oyi. 2 grams was your initiation. That's exactly how you say that. 2 grams was your initiation. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to do a temperature check. So I want while Oyi is getting ready to share more with us, I want those of you to give some adjectives to what your experience was like, your very first experience. Mine, I shared last week. I share it all the time. I met the Divine Mother. She gave me my assignment. I hit the ground running like never before. She removed years of trauma that I had been holding, particularly around, and even though I had already written my book, there was a part of me that was still unsettled about motherhood. And that's when she told me, she said, I gave you a different assignment this lifetime. And that was the very first journey. And like you said, shout out to my people. 7 in journey is. We did it at Disneyland. And we, yes, Disneyland, honey. And, we met up in Costa Rica. It was just beautiful. The conversation started in Costa Rica. And when Journey talked about how, she took us into this trance space. And if you haven't sat with Journey, she sings you through. Though the way the ancestors work with her, it's one thing to play music. I've done that too, and it's effective for me. But when somebody has the ability and they're trained in ayahuasca, but they fell in love with the mushroom journey. So you did your first one, and then what was it? The first journey that made you say, I'm all in? Or was it the second or the third?
I went down in dose after my first journey. So like Kalindi had my protocol, which is Kalindi's protocol now, is 579 with a guide before you go to double digits alone. The guide is to help you be able to go to double digits by yourself, to find yourself, right?
Say it again, Oyi, please. Say that again. The guide is to.
The guide is to, let me get it up. The protocol is 579 with a guide. The guide is to help you get your sea legs. Imagine you're on a ship and the ship is kind of like this, and one person is throwing up and the other person ain't, because one person got his sea legs and the other one don't. Sea legs is when you're used to this thing moving like this. It's like a woman who's had 4 children about to have her 5th, and the one woman is her first child. You just got your, the other lady's like, come on, we good. We got time to get to the hospital. I know when this is going to be. And the first lady might be like, oh my God. So the guide helps you get your sea legs and support you in the ceremony. That's the guide's job. The guide's job is not to hold your hand. There's different ways, but me personally, I'm not going to ground you. You're not here to ground. A lot of people, when they come into ceremony, they want to ground. You're getting high. That's just that. You come in here to get, really, really high in a safe environment, which I said set and setting, right? And so that's That, and then I went down.
Scare some people, to be honest, because getting high sounds like it's reckless. You know, let's getting
It does, it
to the
does.
novice, to the
And that's
neophyte.
why I address it. That's why I address it. That's why I address it, because some things are, because when you get in there and the mushrooms hit you, you're gonna be you're gonna be giggling too. Let me tell you about the giggles, about all the laughter, right? And the fun. But you're gonna be like, when you get in there, you're gonna say, I'm high. But it ain't gonna be the kind of high from drunk and marijuana and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not, okay? And I've been in drug culture. I mean, a long way into drug culture, right? And so but it ain't crackhead high. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't, my man who I used to get weed from said, I ain't messing with no mushrooms, because if you get he told me about acid. He said, if you take acid and get a bad trip, you might not come back. And I applied that to everything that wasn't weed. And that's what most people do. Most people will take one danger of one thing and use it as an excuse to not try or not come out of anything else that they're doing. And so that's what I did. I thought mushrooms and acid was the same thing, and it's not.
That's why I never heard anybody refer to no shade or anything, but I never heard anybody who does the sacred work refer to it as getting high. Because for me it was beyond, and you know, I'm definitely THC friendly, so I can't even equate it to that, right? I see it as traveling, because for me it was, and I also think it varies by the person. Some people it takes a while for it to get in. I've been in ceremonies where one person, all they do is burp through it. So some people, they have no effect. Honey, baby, child, I shot right through the roof. I was gone. So it ain't no getting no high for me.
The roof is higher than the floor. That's what I mean. The roof is higher than the floor. Second story.
Roof.
Right. Where she went to it. And I want to say this too. So somebody's thinking, why five instead of 1, 2, 3, or 4? So you need fuel to break through this trauma. So let me get into teaching mode for a second. The traumas that you have are in your abdominal brain. It has a memory of all of your traumas. So when you fast, before you do ceremony with mushrooms, the mushrooms are analyzing your stomach and your abdominal brain like a car being hooked up to a computer doing a technical analysis. And it's saying, oh my God, look at all this trauma in here. So with a microdose, 0.3, something less than 1, is like, we can only get this little bit done. We might as well just go up to the brain and work on the neurons. Anything less than 5 is not enough to break the gravitational pull of what's going on down here. 5 grams is enough gas in the car. Tanya, if you was in New Orleans and I said, let's go to LA, and I say, I'm gonna put $5 in the car, it's gonna be a really strange look at me at the gas station, because you're gonna say, I guess we're going to the other side of New Orleans. We're not going to Los Angeles. What do you mean? So you got to fill the tank up in order to make journeys. You have to fill the tank up with the adequate amount of fuel. Think of mushrooms as fuel to break the thing, because you need to look at the trauma from a bird's eye view. And that's what you have the guide for, because when you do feel the fear come up or the whatever, I always call it turbulence. All of you have been on a plane. No plane, Spirit Airlines, United, Dubai, nobody can say you're going to be on a plane and there's not going to be any turbulence. So I also tell people, you came here to get high. I also tell them there's going to be some turbulence. Let me show you how to breathe now before you even put the mushrooms in your mouth. That's the difference why everybody was coming to the Jin Jin room. My pre-integration is ridiculous. I start you 14 days before you even get to me on your pre-integration. So when you walk in the door, people would get to my house at 5. You still got 4 more hours before we start. I take your phone as soon as you get in the door. You are immediately disconnected to these distractions, because it's about you. It's about you, because when you do get higher than your trauma, and you look down at it, Now you can have a clearer view and say, let me now analyze this. Oh, and maybe I can get some insight without all this trauma. Maybe now I can hear, maybe I can hear some ancestors. Maybe I can hear some spirits. Maybe I can hear the mushrooms. Oh, you're going to hear the music. I ain't want to spoil your surprise, but if you get it right, you see why she laughing? You're going to hear them tunes, right? Which is why I don't play music over 5 grams. I understand the lower dose. And near the end, before I moved to Bali, I was starting people off at 7 grams. Because y'all Black and we God body. You know, I used to be 5%. I'm still a 5%er, but I was like, 7 is God. You can handle it. And I ran into a lot of people who were afraid of 5, came out the next morning. I should have did 7. And I heard it just too many times. And I was like, okay, no problem. I'll be a little more careful, but we're going to start you off a little higher. Right now, I probably would start people off at 5 or something like that.
I mean, but there's different talks out there. I mean, I have another girlfriend who sits and guides, and she does. So let's talk about that 3-day journey. So sometimes she'll do a 3-day journey, and she'll start them off at 1 or 2, then increase to 3, then get them to 5.
She's kind. I want to, whoever that is, hey, kind woman. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You know.
Well, you know what I think it is, Oye? I want to bring a little bit of my experience and expertise too. I know you're a condor and all, but let me throw this part in there. And I think our sister will get this. A few of the priests will get this. When you already have medicine in your body, when you add other medicine, you don't have to start off at the highest dose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So priests of other traditions who already have had medicine in them, a lot of times you don't have to, but I do get what you're saying. So sometimes you want to see how those plants work together, how those medicines work together. And that's why it does matter who you sit with, and the guide, and the priest a priest will be mindful of who they sit with, an initiate or on the journey. You don't just go sit with anybody. And I told the story last week.
Can you hold? You guys say that again. You're moving too fast. I got to back you up on your own show. Can I get 15 seconds? One more time.
You cannot sit with anybody. We talked about that the last show. That's why you're here, because we talked about, how I was so ready. I thought I was so ready, and I thought it was going to be ayahuasca. And my husband protected me. He said, absolutely not. You will not go sit with, you said it more blunt than I would have said it, but there were practitioners, they weren't shamans of the plant medicine in Costa Rica that didn't look like me. And Smokey said to me, my husband said to me, listen, those people have different intention for that plant. And you cannot go sit with anybody, because they can't handle what's going to show up. They don't even know how to address it. And I tell you, I have heard it over and over and over again. My husband took a shout out to him.
So this piece right here, now you get back into Kalindi. They cannot access where we access on the same dosage.
Oh,
so
wow.
That means if you are a person of color here, and I give you 5 grams of Tamarians, and another person who is not of color, and we give them 5 grams, they cannot access what you can access. So they cannot be able. Why do you think it was this big rush of white people wanting black people to come in to teach them how to listen to black people?
Right.
They knew they couldn't handle your experiences. So what do you think changes when you get into this particular level of spirituality and things like this, right? Mm-hmm. And so they cannot access where you go. And that's why so many, now it's not that I don't sit for white people. I'm good. I can sit for whatever, but because of this long ass hair, people just be like, I want to go sit with somebody that look like me, which is cool, right? But the training, the other piece you said about people who have not had any training, and you mentioned Condor. I want to say that there would be no Condor if it was not for Kalindi Iyi.
Ashe.
The Condor approach is built all over every principle of Kalindi EE point blank. There is never been a Condor training where Kalindi's name is not said 50 to 100 times. Okay, I just, for anybody, oh, well, it's a white woman and a light-skinned black man. Yeah. Boy, you don't know nothing what you're talking about. That's all I'm gonna say is it's Baba Kalindi's operation. We still running his
Technology.
situation.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, as a Condor, and this is why I cried. This is why I was crying, because I have some training now that my Baba didn't even have. But this is what he wanted. This is what he wanted.
Yeah.
This is what he wanted. This is why I'd be so angry with him. I'd be like, you're supposed to be right here. And he'd be like, shh, no, I already done my mission, homeboy. He said, you take it to the next level. You take it to the next level. Dr. Jerry didn't have this integration training. Kalindi didn't have this integration training. And in Bali, 100% of them jokers over there ain't got no integration training. And I want to give y'all's warning. I don't know how much longer we got, but a lot of people is just machine lining y'all through, factory lining y'all, and just getting y'all through because and you got to take accountability. They know they're just another trip sitter for you, and they're pretending they're some type of damn shaman, and you want to have a shaman experience. So when you wake up, you want a guru standing over you, which Kalindi and Jerry and in the Condor, we do not play that mess. When a person comes up out of their thing, you're not supposed to be standing over them. You supposed to, like, when you open your eyes, it's you. You just did all the work. I was in here making sure the outside was good, and you need some water, you need some help getting to the bathroom. Let me clean up your vomit. If you vomit, I got to do all that right stuff right there for you. You know what I'm saying? Cook breakfast the next morning. But you just did the work. You just did the work. So let's take that and move it on to that, which is another reason why I say come empty, leave full. I do not set intentions. I do not tell people to set intentions because the mushrooms are 4 billion years old. Life has only been on the earth for 1 billion. So the mushrooms through the mycelium network knows your history better than you. We humans are liars. We will lie. Oh, how you feel there? Oh, I'm good. How's everything at home? It's all right. How's your job? You a liar. The mushrooms is the truth serum. And then I put a little extra truth serum, deer tongue. I don't care. So y'all can get it. Deer tongue is called a truth serum. So in the pre-integration, we drink a tea 45 minutes before we take the mushrooms. So when you said some medicine on top of medicine, you know what I'm saying? That deer tongue gives you that honesty, right? And now you're looking at that trauma, and now you're realizing, and now you can be honest when you finish and say, my intention now is ba 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 ba. The person without in the DIY, do it yourself, you're just not gonna know to focus on setting an intention when you finish. Because when you come in there and try to tell the mushrooms what to do, that's just like a 3-year-old trying to tell me and Latanya what to do. We're gonna be like, that was funny. I appreciate it, but I'm gonna go get you what you need today. What you need today is this.
So funny.
That's how the mushrooms do you. The mushrooms is like,
that is so funny. You are so right on that. You go in and try to tell any plant medicine what to do. That usually is the most humbling trip. But I want to catch some of these comments and talk about some other types of mushrooms, because really this whole show could be dedicated to mushrooms, but I do want people, because I see y'all dropping bufo and this and that in the comments. And again, I'm a quintessential educator. I think about the learning of everybody, and then even the people who come back to look at the channel later and look at the comments. I want them. So yeah, drop your comments, your education, your sources in there too. I always think about that. But so listen, here we have our sister who says, look, she's giving you big props because she said you told her that her life would be unrecognizable within a few years. And today I'm living in South Africa, from Baltimore, initiated as a Sangoma. I was set free. But she was on the show last week, but my sister, and I'm saying my sister, I'm trying not to call her Reverend Sabira because she really is nameless in her process right now. So, but those of us in our spiritual community, you know her as Reverend Sabira, who is getting ready to be born and announce her new name really soon. But she has a testimony that's tremendous from her health, you know, and she takes it. So those of you who have had any cancer experience, and I'm not making any medical claims, disclaimer, let me just say that now. This is her testimony, and she will tell you in a minute about that. And I've heard other people, there's testimonies of people, because there's a lot of us in the community who talk about it, you know, that even ayahuasca, there's a sister here doing work taking people on journeys, and ayahuasca brought her back from a diagnosis of 90 days to live. So y'all, we were light and casual in our conversation, but there are real testimonies of people clearing medical illnesses and diagnosis when they thought that they were going to be gone, and they are still here and dedicated to this work with other people. So I wanted to capture some of the comments. Like, you may see some of your people, shout them out, Baba, if you see them.
It's a whole bunch of it still make me emotional, because the mushrooms, I started healing myself even when I was jazzed, before there was a Khayr, and I saw I saw the dysfunction in my own family. And the greatest part of it, which one is stronger? Your fear of what the mushroom's gonna do, or you wanting to see your family come to you and be healed? So my cousin is in here, Monique. Monique brought her daughter to meet Kalindi and learn how to grow mushrooms. And her grandmother and my father were best friends. So when I see that part of the line and the lineage coming together, and that bloodline in my kitchen, she opening that pressure cooker, and I'm standing there showing her how to grow mushrooms, or I'm showing my nephew how to lay a tub, or how to like cut the mushroom and how to put them in the dehydrator. Like, I take the fear. Okay, so what is scary? All right, then what? But most of the time, it's false evidence appearing real. It's not real. At the end, when you look back at it, you'll be laughing at it. So step into it. However, it's normal, but you ain't. Would you have a baby by yourself? Come on, now you got a doula, midwife.
I love that.
Or something. You wouldn't have no baby by you, and the new you is coming. The new. That's why I don't call it. I say the trip is when you finish. When you own it, it's in the ceremony. The trip starts when the sober comes, and you just be like, clap it up, clap it up. The trip comes when you get sober, and then you begin to walk it. So my trip, I'm still on the same trip from May 17th, 2018. I'm on that exact same trip from that day right there. I'm rooted in that same. Kalindi. Another reason I started crying is because this is the Yi Ming Zhu that I got from Kalindi. Mushrooms wouldn't help me guide me to my transdimensional crystal, so I could attract wealth and have magic happening in my life at a rapid pace. So these all from one fear. What if that
I 100% align with what you're saying.
What that one fear was the plug that made the whole thing fall into place for you. Black people that are listening to me, and anybody else this is applicable for, we always like, oh, the other shoe's about to fall. Things can't keep going this good. Oh no, the other shoe has to fall. It's got to be something bad about to happen. That's all. What if that's a lie? What if you're perpetrating a lie and you standing on two lucky feet? What about if you thought you had one lucky foot and unlucky was coming, but you really got two lucky feet and there is no other shoe to fall? Why don't you go ahead and walk? We were talking to somebody last night. You don't need another breakthrough. You just need to lean and walk through the door. Oh, I need a breakthrough. I need a breakthrough. Why don't you just step through the door? The air condition might be on. You might not even need a fan. You know what I'm saying? It could be a butler in there waiting to help you. And on many guides, many times, I'm just a physical guide that helps you connect with the spiritual guide over 5 grams. Spiritual guides don't necessarily come down less than 5. You can have an amazing experience on 2 grams, on 1 gram. You can, amazing. But it's guaranteed at 5 and above.
Okay, thank you. for Claire, because I know an experienced person who talked about, well, I always go over this amount. And she said, and I was just gonna go oblige my friend and just do 1.5 with my friend one day. And she said it was the most powerful experience she had. So it's not just that, which brings me to a segue while I capture some of these comments. I want you to talk about location, because we talked a little bit about this in our conversation. And one thing that used to bug me a little bit, but me and let's say Smokey and I, we noticed it when we lived abroad. When we came back to the States, everybody was on automatic in this matrix. The engine, they was being chewed up in the engine of going to work and doing whatever every day. And so nobody ever asked us about our supernatural, transcendental, experiences. Nobody ever asked us, how did you do this or how did you do that? And it was so much magic that we met on our journey. The whole journey in Costa Rica was shamanistic. And I wanted so bad to do plant medicine there, but I didn't get a chance to do it in that way. And I have friends who have traveled to Peru to do ayahuasca, and they say it's a huge difference, particularly the journey. My friends have to go through a canoe to get to the place. So everybody has a different experience. Can you talk a little bit about your experience in going to different locations to experience the plant medicine?
When you look at a map, every map has longitude and latitude. That's how the GPS works to get you somewhere. That's the physical one that you can calculate easily. But also there's a ley line. There's an energetic, spiritual ley line in every place that you're going to visit that's different than the place you were just at. So there's you're closer to the equator in Ecuador and Panama than you are in Atlanta and New York and Canada. You're at a different ley line. You're at a different temperature, and you're also on a different historical site that is marked by what has happened there historically. So the place here is marked historically by what, okay? But when you go to places that are marked with ceremony only, harmony only, love only, we call this set and setting. So like if you look at my background, this is like a lovely place to have like a little mastermind, a little piano.
Sorry.
What?
The priests who are saying Alafia, whatever, greetings to you. I just want to acknowledge them. Ashe. I always acknowledge the priest. I'm sorry to cut your wisdom.
Yes. Thank you. But it's okay. So set in the different locations is the set and the settings. You've been on TV right before, what did I say? Quiet on the set.
Right.
Quiet on the set. Why? Because we're setting the atmosphere and the tone for something new and to be created right here. So Jamaica has a different energy with the fruit than Atlanta. Okay. I was in Jamaica when I decided I was moving to Bali. Okay. South Africa has a different feeling on the medicine than Atlanta and Jamaica. Bali has a different energy. Now, this is by itself. Then here you come, human being. Here you got a different energy. Mr. and Mrs. Pisces, Miss Capricorn, Miss Libra, Miss Moon and Virgo, Miss whatever. You're carrying different ley lines yourself. So now when you cross these ley lines up, you're creating an experiment, not an experience. It's not an experience until you finish. It's an experiment. Then you're saying, oh, so these places that you are, they're going to affect your nervous system differently when you get into the ceremony. And the whole thing is about, even on your spiritual path, you need to recalibrate your nervous system. You cannot move forward and say, I want to connect with my ancestors. I want to do this. I want to see Ganesha. I want to see Lord Ta, with a jacked up nervous system, because they can't enter you. They can't get in there like that. And what can get in there is some entities that could be very expensive to get out, and they could cost you a lot. There's dark forces trying to ride you too, but the light beings trying to come into a light vessel. So being in the right environment. What if you want to make love to your partner and they tell you, let's go to the outhouse? It's going to be different if they say, let's go to the penthouse. In the penthouse, you're going to be like, hey, but in the outhouse, you're going to be like, And so you cater to what can make you more comfortable. I do not necessarily feel that you need to go all the way to the jungle to do ayahuasca. I do believe, because you can go all the way to the jungle and run into a tribe of Europeans, and that's where they at. Them Europeans is down there in the jungles buying up land, saying we doing ayahuasca ceremonies and colonizing again, like they always do, another area where you could have a person like myself or lots of people that's in here now, who have a good heart. What's their intention? Are they knowledgeable? Just because somebody's in Peru don't need just because somebody's in Mexico mean he know Bufo. How many grams did you take? I don't know. Was it synthetic or organic? I don't know.
Oh, well,
What was your name? I don't
let's
know.
talk about synthetic and organic. But wait a minute, let's talk about the different types of plant medicine under your under your guidance, okay? But I did want to capture. They talking to us, or I gotta talk to them too. Every time I start chewing mushrooms, I get angry at putting myself through the initial discomfort. Then after, I'm always appreciative. Hell, this happens every plant medicine journey. Oh boy. So let me see. Yes, there's initiation. The reason why I'm traveling, Sangoma. Okay. I think I got okay, here we go. So can you talk about Iboga and also Bufo and the other different types? There's a few other some of you all have also been talking about other types.
Let me say this. Ayahuasca is one I haven't done, but everybody else, we done been almost down through there. The drops in the eyes, that ain't called me like that. I'm cool with wearing my glasses. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want the burning feeling for 30 days for like 2 minutes and then it goes away. I'm good. Iboga, put some respect on his name.
Okay.
I'll say that slow. I have only microdosed. Matter of fact, I changed my name on Iboga. I went from Khayr to Oyi microdosing on Iboga. I had some stuff come up like you would not believe. And I'm talking about 0.3 grams of Iboga crushed up myself and was taking it alongside of I was stacking Iboga with mushrooms. I was doing microdose with both of these for 30 days. Because Iboga can take your life if you are not there with the right person.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
It will take your life. So
a lot of Europeans use Iboga to get off drugs. It's used very specific. So Iboga is an African plant, you all typically.
Yes, and just like Bufo, which is a Mexican medicine, heroin addicts, cocaine addicts, crack addicts, regular cigarettes, alcoholism. I've sat with people over 280 ceremonies in Bufo, and really, like, while I'm in the States, I would prefer right now to do Bufo ceremonies with people because I can do more people and they can have more of an experience than what my parameters are. Because with mushrooms, I'm a safety person, so I'm not doing more than 5 people by myself. But on a weekend with Bufo, I could do 30, but I wouldn't. I probably would do 20 and let them have that experience. But I couldn't do 20 people on mushrooms in a weekend by myself, right? And so Bufo, Baba Kalindi and Dr. Jerry says the equivalent of 30 dry grams of mushrooms in less than 30 minutes. And you are there in, I just need 16 to 30 seconds and you're going to be there. right? Yeah,
Wow.
16 to 30 seconds. But this is why I be asking people, is it synthetic or is it organic? Because the pharmaceutical company, which I don't want to get into, Big Pharma is on the way. They're coming. I just had a
They're
conversation with one of
Yeah.
my big white boys yesterday. He wrote the legislation for decriminalization of mushroom in Denver. He told me some stuff. Lord have mercy. That's why the thing, you can't beat them. So prepare for safety. Prepare for safety. We need more people being safety advocates for bufo, for iboga, for mushrooms, microdosing, cacao, ketamine, whatever it is. That's why I love Condor, because Condor is about safety, and integration is not optional. It don't matter which one you do. Even if you're in a relationship and you break up from your boo, you need post integration. If you whatever break your leg when you go to rehab, what is that? That's post integration. But back to bufo, it's rare. That's why it's so expensive, because these frogs are only from Mexico. But I brought Bufo and Dr. Jerry to Atlanta for Black women because you cannot quit. Now, I know y'all let me land this shit before y'all go in. Me, as a historian, I have seen a lot of traumatized women blame other people for something. But when I ask them, did they go through the whole program? For whatever reason, they did not. And me, I'm just going to label you a finisher or a quitter. I don't do gray areas. So if you quit, it's just structural. You can go back in there and finish. It took me 19 years to get a bachelor's degree, but you ain't gonna call me no quitter on my education, because I went back and got it with 3 felonies. So I said, when I was in Detroit in Kalindi's basement, 80% of the Black women who were taking Bufo in the beginning, they were screaming, "Make it stop," at the top of their lungs. And I was like, oh, there's a consensus here to quit. And the Bufo would not allow them. And when they completed it, they were completely transformed. All 760 trillion cells in their body. And 9 out of 10 of them rolled over, looked at me and Jerry and said, "Can I go again? That was the most wonderful thing that happened in my," I mean, like, it for me, in the first 4 or 5 times when I was in there and I saw all the reactions and the resistance to love.
To
Really,
love.
this
I
all it
know
come down.
it's true.
A lot of us, Black women, I'm sorry, Black men too, you are resistant to love. You're not resistant to somebody telling you what to do. You're not resistant to being submissive. You're resistant to love.
To
And
love.
God is love. So if you're resistant to love down here on earth, then you probably have a weak connection to the source. And so
Oh,
that's why I'm with high dose mushrooms and high dose bufo, to reconnect you with the God around, in, and under you.
yes, yes. Ooh,
And
that's good.
because you know what? I got to give a shout out to one of the I got some quotables from listening to 280 Bufo ceremonies, but I got one in Dallas, Texas, where Rob Bay was on the floor, face down, off the pallet, banging her fist on the floor, screaming, "God always wins. God always wins. God always wins." God, I said, "What? God always wins if you let him love you. If you let God love you, God is undefeated.
Oh, that's a
If
prayer
you let
right there.
if you
Somebody put
let
that
God
in the
love
chat,
you,
y'all. Put that in the chat. Just affirm that in this solar eclipse energy
I'm
for
gonna let God
yourself.
love me. I'm gonna let God love me. Matter
Come
of fact, come on, let's
on,
get some tapping.
always
Let's get
win.
some tapping. Let's get some tapping. Let's get some tapping. Right now in this
Always
moment, right
wins.
now in this moment, even though I'm not really sure about myself and I don't let love in all the time, I know if I let God love me, I'm going to win, because God does love me and I love myself. I tap you out. Now I know a lot of different
Come
skills,
on.
but
Like you woo. Okay, wait a minute. Woo, you get me excited over here about this right here, because you said some good stuff. I hope y'all caught that. I hope y'all if you got it, put a little ball or something. Let your brother know that you heard him. So I wanted to catch this comment because another one underscoring that Iboga is the most powerful of God's sacred medicine. Nothing can be taken lightly ever, and only if called. Give thanks for it calling me. It has not called me, and I'm okay with that.
I think that if you microdose it, though, it will be some profound discoveries for you. I will say that because of what I know about you and you being a Taurus. And
no, Gemini Taurus cusp. I know you don't believe in cusp, but Gemini.
Okay.
Team Gemini.
Oh, that's right. You just got a lot of Taurus flavor. You was in your mama's stomach.
I do.
Taurus.
Yeah.
Right. But with what I know about you, Iboga, 0.3 grams or less, you would have some experiences, and you can go through your day on Iboga. There's no nothing. There's no I need to sit down. You just pop it, drink your water, go on about your business. Wait maybe an hour before you eat, and you can just go through your whole day. But he is gradual. He is I call him the slow uncle. He's Saturn. If you study astrology, Iboga is Saturn. Iboga is Saturn. No compromise. And he gonna slow walk you. He ain't no hurry. He gonna slow walk you. Like, I didn't feel nothing today.
Antoinette, are you having the same experience? She says currently microdosing on Iboga. Spirit told me to be nurtured by this plant instead of going for the big bang. She said, I'm always wanting the big bang. You got to know my sister Antoinette to know the context. And she's a juicy butterfly from my program.
She sure is juicy. I'm sorry, but yes, praise the Lord.
All right. And so Healing Women of Color, thank you for what you're doing for us women. My Toad session with you changed my life. And words cannot begin to explain my Bufo experiences. I've done it 3 times. Okay. Somebody caught that. Dana, you caught that. Resistance to love. Somebody else caught that. Resistance to love. Come on, you see, I wasn't the only one touched by this. Hey, sisters, I can tell you sister to sister. Many of us say we want the soft life, but the reason why many of us are so afraid is because we don't want to let go of control. I have had people straight up tell me, I don't ever want to be out of control. Then you really can't experience orgasm at the level you can. If you don't ever want to be out of control, you really can't. You just may be experiencing the little girl's orgasm. You're not experiencing the full range of orgasm. You're not experiencing the full range of yourself. So, come on, Consciously Undoing with Dr. Makosi. She says, my Bufo journey to the Intergalactic Council. Yes, I know mushrooms do that for me. Okay. And so let's see. I love that. She said, I love that God always wins. Okay. All right. They feel it. Y'all feeling this? Okay. Any questions? Because we are now past oh my goodness. We are way past the hour mark.
We ain't way past nothing. We timeless.
We are, okay. Are you all loving this? You want us to keep going a few more minutes? Any questions? For those of you who are watching, there's a lot. I can feel the watchers. You're like, what is she talking about? Are they seriously talking about they went on a what? Reverend Latanya? Yes. You know why? Because when you do this kind of stuff, you get free. You get free of the judgments you've held against yourself. And the things that we are allowing us, we fight for our limitations. So many of us that are talking about the soft life and we want to, but you don't want to be vulnerable. So this is why there's so oftentimes so much resistance, and they say, keep going. All right, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, House of Ibeji. Yes, our sister, the Traveling Sangoma, says we have to break through the outer crust. So you didn't talk about snake venom. Could you please talk about snake venom, please?
You talking about this viper I just got 3 weeks ago? You talking about this diamondback rattlesnake viper that I just got, or you talking about the king cobra that I got, or you talking about the monoclade cobra I got? Or if you want to get with the ancestors of Africa, that's the the Gabon viper. Which one would you? Oh, all of them. Okay, I'll talk about all of them. I would highly recommend snake venom to people for maybe three reasons. One, there's nothing. Like, you smoke weed, you're gonna get high. Do mushrooms, you're gonna do this other stuff. If you do bufo, it's gonna be that. Nothing is happening. You just have to sit still while it soaks into your blood, because the snake is not radical. And the difference between poison and medicine is dosage. I want everybody to write that down. If I ain't said write nothing down, the difference between medicine and poison is dosage. So we take snake venom, we take a full bite of snake venom over a 3-day period. Now, what people don't know about snakes is snakes are clean animals. They use their venom to detox their prey before they swallow it. Did you know that the venom is destroying all disease in the little baby mouse's body so the snake don't get sick? So if you putting that venom in your body, and venom don't have no predator. I said venom don't have, ain't nobody out here chasing no snakes. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing that. So the venom of the snake is going through your body looking for I want trespassers and squatters. That means disease and pathogens that ain't supposed to be in your body that you and your hard-headed self brought in through eating or whatever the environment you was in. The snake venom is going in there I'm getting it all out. I'm going to stalk you and get it all out. And it's going to move through your body slowly. And then you're going to start you can take on the characteristics of the snake you need. So a lot of you have this fear thing. What venom would I prescribe for you? King Cobra. Why? Because he's the king and he's confident. So if you need some confidence, why wouldn't you bring in something that had confidence with you? If you having some issues around starting something, cobras like to rest and sleep comfortable. Vipers, they like to strike. So let's say you need some initiative. I need to get up and move around a little bit. Then you would move over to another venom. Just like the different types of mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? They're not just only cubensis. There's the Sianeses and all these other different strains out here. The venoms for the mushrooms, and I have to say this like Tanya just said earlier, not just anybody. If they ain't been trained, for me, I only mess with Sincere anyway, or if you came out of his camp. If you was trained when he was trained, or you came out of his training, then I'm going in there with you. But you need to make sure the person is caring for you, protecting you, knowing all the situations of what this venom does for you. Because it is, what happens if you get bit by a snake? What they looking for? The antidote. They trying to get the snake to get you not to die. Because it's medicine. But we've been programmed in the States, like you said earlier. I'm so mechanical to be afraid of myself and which is even in my conversation today, it leads you to what? Death. You have a death type mindset instead of an immortal type mindset. So for me, I was already thinking like an immortal. Then when I got into this medicine, it just expanded what I was thinking. So I didn't have as many blockages to run through. Trust me, I had some to run through. I was not exempt at all. Probably, I know I got some more. I just re-upped just a little while ago since I got back in, because I've been sober for a year and a half. So
I think you didn't get a chance to do ceremony there in Bali.
Not with my medicine.
Oh, got it. Okay.
With their medicine, I was in ceremony 3 or 4 times a week. You know what I'm saying? If not every day. But
so we want to talk about a little bit about, because this transition period of you coming back to the States as well. So can we take a few questions?
Visiting the States. Visiting the States.
Ross says dosage determines poison or medicine. Sean, and also if you all are watching, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
So even if You know, help
Yes,
me get
yes. Good
to
person.
to my first 1,000 followers. Help me, help me, help me.
Yay!
So Chantel asked the question. My question is, do you recommend someone who has been on recreational drugs and addiction take the journey?
Highly, high. I recommend it the way I recommend breathing deeply. I recommend it like they recommend drinking 8 glasses of water a day. I recommend it like I would tell a toddler to tie his shoes before he run in the house. I would recommend it like I would tell you, don't rob a donut store because the police is in there. I would recommend it highly like I would tell you to put your mouthpiece in before you go play football. Yeah, I would recommend it like I told you to take an umbrella outside if it's
Oh my
raining.
God. I think he recommends it, y'all. So can you speak a little bit more beyond the recommendation? Because I know people use Iboga to detox, to get off of drugs, and they're phenomenal testimonies about people who have had this experience. But you want to speak a little bit more why you recommend it? Looking at your comments, you all.
Because normally you are doing a lot of recreational drug and addiction because you are afraid and you are avoiding something,
Mm-hmm.
and you now have deteriorated the muscle to face things.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get you back over and make a course correction, which is why I recommend it highly, so you can get course corrected to see that the thing that you're running from is really not that dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And address it and seek assistance. Now, I want to say I recommend it with a sitter. For those of you who were, this is good. This is good. We bring it all the way back around. I don't recommend it for DIYs if you have an addiction issue now or you've been dealing with a lot of recreational drugs, because you're going to treat it like a blunt, and that's the worst thing that could happen. You're going to throw some mushrooms in your mouth and say, I don't feel nothing. You're going to throw some more mushrooms in your mouth and you're going to say, I don't feel nothing. You're already too far in now because that's what you would normally do. Oh, this weed is not enough. I need to smoke some stronger weed. No, each of these has its own signature. They have their own signature. And the signature that you're on is abuse. You need to come over to someone who can sit with you or talk you through it. I'm not a big person of like virtual sitting. I'll do virtual sitting less than 3 grams, possibly, but that means the computer got to be open. So I always thought that was an antecedent. I was like, there's not supposed to be anything in the room like electronics and stuff. So how could I leave the computer screen open while I'm on 5 grams of mushrooms? It didn't make sense. The math on math. So if you were on it, I would say, please have someone help you and guide you. I actually have a guide for a first time if you don't have a sitter. I had to write it. So during COVID, and I'll send it to you and you can send it to folks. I made a guide. So there's a woman, she's in Maryland, her daughter's 21. She didn't have anyone who had done 5 grams to sit with her. So I wrote a guide out on what to do if you don't have a sitter who has not done 5 grams with you. But really, I could use this on damn almost any dosage. I didn't have Chat GPT then. I should turn this into an ebook now that I'm thinking about it, or a free giveaway or something. Yes. And I think I want to talk about the orgasm that Icy was talking about she had. I would say a lot of that was from the setting because she was already comfortable when she got there. The orgasm on Bufo was intense. I was spitting up, rubbing it all over my body the first time I ever felt real love. But it was the pre-integration where she was relaxed and we were dealing with serotonin instead of adrenaline. The adrenaline is what none of these medicines like adrenaline, y'all. Nobody. The Bufo, the mushrooms, the ayahuasca, don't come in there aggressive. Who you talking to? You better get that adrenaline out your voice. Go get me some serotonin and calm down, and then we can work together. That's why I always say relaxation is the key. And that's one of the main parts that sets me apart from other practitioners is the breathing that it's mandatory. You're going to do 20 minutes of breath work with me, tantric microcosmic orbit breath work before any medicine go in your mouth, period. I'm going to infuse the body with serotonin. So that's the first one that we can create. You got DMT in your body already. Now let's put some serotonin on it. Now let's bring in some external medicine to reconnect, and let's see what God do.
Wow. And so we can talk about all this on YouTube like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. You see, I use no profanity. You know, profanity, sometimes they cut you for that. I'm doing really good today. Good job.
Me too. We older now, though. You know, we the unks and the aunties and the mamas, and we, you know.
OGs, big OGs.
So, any more questions, you all? I think that, or you did amazing, as he always does. You're such an educator and such a teacher. We talked about relocation. You know, did y'all know that Oyi did astrocartography? Did you all know that? Did you know that those of you who are thinking about moving, or if your life is blocked, and so it's not just the mushroom. You know, I like to always say to people about plant medicine, you particularly melanated woman, ancient one connected to the ancient mother, primordial in nature. You are the medicine. You are really the medicine. All you doing is joining on with an aspect of you. So you are the one. So when we're communing outside of this earth's, this meat suit, when we leave this meat suit, we go into this voidless void of who we really are, right? With no titles, with no identity, like, and you get to get instructions for living when you have this experience. And I do wish that I had been introduced to it much sooner, because I started my spiritual journey at 19 when I joined the Nation of Islam, and coming out of the Nation of Islam with all my Southern programming. When you have religious programming and you have God complexes and all kind of things, that it calcifies you more and more. Somebody watching is so calcified, all you know how to do is judge. So no, so the plant medicine isn't even calling you yet. You might want to start with cacao. That might be where you start, just so you can understand that there's something else. But honey, if you all are going to get nerve pills, the stuff for depression, all of them, the bipolar, can you speak to that, by the way? Thank you, Holy Spirit, for bringing that up.
Give me the question complete.
Let's talk about people who are under some type of psychiatric treatment. Do you require disclosure of when they may be bipolar, schizophrenic, on those types of meds? Do you or is that too something we don't talk about on YouTube? I'm okay with
no. So now everybody, y'all watch this. This is not me. And the condors that are in here, including your sister, you keep bringing up condor subjects without saying condor. So I want to invite you publicly in February to come on down to Austin for your first, because it's way more than I was like, oh no. And then I keep going back. Like, you will love it. But one of the things we talk about as condors is intake forms. And on my intake form is, what prescriptions have you been taking? Have you been to it? Some people got an intake form that will take you 30 minutes to fill out before you can come sit with them, because I want to know I want to know what I'm getting myself into. So even if now this is for the sitters out here. Now I know we've been talking to like beginners and mediums, but if you're on the other side and you want to sit for somebody, if I don't feel safe, then I'm just, because I know Antoinette. If I don't feel safe about me sitting for Antoinette, she ain't taking no mushrooms or bufo with me. Sorry, you're gonna find somebody else.
That's right.
Because I got to put my mask on first. Do I feel safe? So give me the info before you could come to Atlanta. They weren't just flying in, like they had to go through intake form, Zoom recorded interview. In case you tried to pull something, we have the recording. because that was the consent. Because now I got you live recording saying you're coming to do this. So there's the consent. And now we get to discuss your stuff. Then them 4 hours before the ceremony start, I get to watch your behavior. Are you antsy? Are you jittery? Do you look like you having some withdrawals or something like that? So for mushrooms specifically, nothing, no over-the-counter, no prescription drugs for 30 days. For Bufo, it depends on how strong of a prescription drug it is. But the morning of, no nothing, only water, no tea, no coffee, no absolutely no tobacco. My God, the one time I got jumped on some Bufo, somebody had been out there smoking Black and Milds. I banned tobacco that night. I was like, oh, it'll never. Latanya, she was like 5'5", 260 pounds, and came up off that mat on that Bufo, and she had the coffin nails. She had the coffin nails, they sharp at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to leave the room. Now, she was nowhere that she needed to be going anywhere. And
Right.
We were asking her pleasantly to sit back down. And she was tossing Dr. Jerry around the room like a rag doll. He was hollering. We was at Journey's house. We was at Journey's. We was over there at Isney, at the land.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's important for you to know what a person already has in their body. How have they been treating their body? Are you a vegetarian? I'll be setting them up. Are you a vegetarian? Are you a meat eater? So they're already like, oh yeah, I'll put that down. Taking any drugs lately? So now they done felt comfortable, but I'm really like, what? And now, including intake, I want to just merge quickly into astrological sitting. Astrological sitting, right? The moon, we're here in the eclipse. The moon's in Libra. Guess how long it's going to be in Libra? 2 more days. Then it's going to go into Scorpio. Then it's going to go into Sag. So the influence of the moon on your ceremonies is going under the radar for everyone. And you really need to take in the time you put the medicine in your mouth, smoke it, whatever you're doing, drop it in your eyes. You need to please write down the time and find out where the planets are when you intake it. Because what is your birth chart? It is when you came into existence. Your inception chart is when you were conceived. But when you were born, that's a new thing. So when you put the thing in your mouth, where are the planets? When you and Smokey got married, guess what? There was a new energy created. What's the moon of y'all's relationship? You may have a moon here, Smokey may have a moon here, but your relationship may have a moon in Scorpio or something like that.
I'm gonna go look that up.
Every so now anytime Smokey
this is our anniversary month.
Hey, look. So now when Smokey get on your nerves, before you put your finger in his face, you go look at the chart and say, oh, we have such and such in such and such. And really, for you, this is my homegirl, y'all, so she gets a little private free reading in public. Go look at the Venus. See where Venus is at in you and Smokey's relationship. And you can thank me later. You can buy me a slutty vegan burger when you see me back in the city or something.
I know you lying. You don't even
know. I'm just joking. You
don't even know if Baba, if you watch it, I did not tell him to say that.
Part-time comedian, because I don't know the whole situation. It's okay. But listen, take down the birth. So what I do, remember, I've done like 110 mushroom ceremonies. I have the astrological chart for every one of them. The 280 Bufo ceremonies, I have the astrological chart for every one of them. So when I go into post-integration and someone is telling me something in their story, like Baba Kalindi taught me, shut your mouth and listen, I'm looking at the chart and like, oh, moon was in Aries. Friday night, moon is in Pisces. That person leaves, next night somebody come, moon is in Aries. Same dosage, same mushroom, same setting, 2 different occasions, 2 wholly different things because the energy done changed. So you really need, like, I would never, ever, I will never, me personally will never do no ceremony during no eclipse. I'm not taking no medicine, not even, probably not even microdosing. I don't know, maybe, but, and like this, but knowing this also helps you say, what can I expect to experience? A new moon, you're going to be clearing things out. Full moon, there's going to be an abundance of choices. It's going to be more energetic. It's going to be a lot more energetic. And then there's 6 more phases of the moon. What happens if you go in on the gathering moon? What happens if you go in on the seeing moon? What happens if you go in on the using moon? These are all things we teach in the Cosmic Dojo. How do you know the moon cycles? So I want your children to know the moon cycles. So when they sneak off and do some mushrooms because you didn't want to, they'll be like, well, I knew that the moon was in Pisces tonight and I was going to see my ancestors and it worked, or something like that. Duck
Yeah.
flower detox.
Yeah.
I personally have not heard of it.
Oh yeah, so it literally is a flower that looks like the flute kind of, and when they get it opens up like leather, and people eat the entire flower, and they have a violent detox where it's coming out of all ends, and most people who have it say that they'll never do it again. But the truth, what I understand is that you're not supposed to eat the whole flower. But so people go and eat the whole flower because they want
DIY. See that
DIY.
the dangers of DIY. Go ahead.
So now you got to answer to your question. The dangers of DIY. You're supposed to just eat a portion of the flower and have a significant detox at that time. But yeah, I hear it's very violent. Anybody else in the comments who want to talk about your experience with duck flower, I'll put your comment up if you have more experience than that. I just went and got some Egyptian blue lotus. Well, listen, I don't know if I should have Sifu Oyi back, because we haven't even gotten into the types of mushrooms and the type. I don't even, and listen, we didn't even go. We could talk about what's happening in Peru. Peru has closed off the access to the ayahuasca tree because of so much abuse. And that's why I asked the question, is this just trending, or are we now really ascending? Is it that we're coming online again? And so I'll just close, we can just close out with any other thoughts that you have, Oyi, just you want to leave with something, leave the folks with something. I do highly recommend that, you get to Oyi while he's here. But everybody misses you so much. I can almost feel the pull. You sure you're going to get up out of here? Look, they said bring Oyi back. Y'all know he has his own channel. He's been doing the YouTube longer than me, and consistent with it. And he got a whole blog talk. And that was another lifetime, wouldn't you say? When you look back over your library of your work, I know for me, there are sometimes things I can't. My library is so extensive, I can't even put it out because it's not even an energetic match to who I am now, particularly after initiation.
I can't afford to pay the person who I want to come in and manage my library. And especially for the things. So some of the things I have definitely outgrown, but I'm also lucky enough that I have done so much that I do have some evergreen stuff that will knock your socks off. Like those 13 interviews with Baba Kalindi, I was doing mushrooms, but the interview I did with Dr. Delbert Blair, the interview I did with Sunyata Saraswati, the interviews that I've done with Sister Myra, like those joints are evergreen and timeless, right? And which is why when I went to Bali, I started a multimedia production company, because I wanted to take my old content, repurpose it. But Bali had medicine for me, and they was just like, you thought you came over here for that, but you're gonna get this medicine. You're gonna get this medicine over here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and your content will still be there, brother. Go back to America and do that, and then you just come on back over here. So I am here. The plan is to be here until February. I don't really, after like watching you all Americans, because I do have an Indonesian driver's license now, so I can talk like this. After watching you Americans, and I made a message to my homeboy today, America ain't that bad It's just that if your mindset is American, that's when you in trouble. So if you believe the marketing over here, that's when you in trouble. And you say, "Oh, land of the free, home of the brave." That's marketing. That's marketing. That's somebody's marketing that now you have said, "Ooh, this is my purpose. I want to be here because of this and that and the third." Your ancestors globe-trotted this whole globe. Excuses are monuments to, I don't know. Excuses are bridges that lead nowhere. Tools of nothingness, monuments to whatever. But why are you making excuses? You know what I'm saying? To like be in a place. What I learned in Bali, and I say this to everybody, you cannot heal at the scene of the crime. You're looking at two people who left for an extensive amount of time to recalibrate our nervous system so we can come back over here with some new eyes, new energy. So it don't even hurt me. If I was to stay here for a year or two, I wouldn't care because it's only $900 to go back to Bali. And I don't care nothing about nobody over here. If I left my nephew for a year and a half, but see, he'll be 18 by the time for me to go back. Or no, he'll be 17. And I'm really preparing a way for him to hop. I'm in the future. I want him to be able to hop. I want him to come over and meet my network. He know my network here. I want to connect him with my network over there. Because over there is AI, fintech, blockchain technology, along with culture. You can have it all. Here you're gonna get this. Here you're gonna get distracted. People don't want you to know who you are, and then you think you're doing something because you know your big three. Oh, my sun, moon, and rising. You got to go past the surface. America's a surface country, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the foundation of the matrix of the whole world. So I don't want America to burn or fall. I'm not gonna call it a different name. I used to call America belly of the beast and all that, but it is the scene of the crime. There's a lot of blood on the hands here, and Hove said, "Anywhere on God's green earth, I triple my worth." You can too, and you are treated like you're supposed to be treated with your passport when you leave. I'm gonna give you this jewel right here. You have your reparations in your passport, but you must cross the borders to receive it because everywhere you go, you're giving American white man privileges. You who have not left, everybody wants to be you. Everybody in the world wants to be, they want your passport. For what you're crying about and what you're complaining about, you should cut that out. Don't you do it because they want to be you. And J. Cole said, "Ain't no such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing, no such thing, no such thing." I'm Sifu Oyi's son. You can catch me at the Cosmic Jedi. You can, if you want to get the most ridiculous strategy consultation that you've ever received in your life, I'm him. If you would like to go a little slower, the Cosmic Dojo is just imagine OnlyFans and Patreon had a baby.
Oh, Lord.
So it's $17 a month for membership, but I'm giving it up. So that was really my transition. All the stuff I was giving away for free, and it was just laying around on the ground. And I was like, why are you giving pearls to swine? And so I finally created a community that I get to pour into. We had a hypnosis class last night. We have a 7-day hypnosis challenge starting on October the 6th. I know you was just like, I'm not your target. Well, some good hypnosis with a master helps everybody. That's all. I was just inviting you to some good hypnosis. That's all.
I thought you was trying to make me work, Oyi.
No, you're supposed to come over there and be a fly on the wall.
I wasn't trying to work. I meant to ask, but I had a lot going on. We'll talk after.
It's all good. This. All you gotta do is get on in.
I promise I'll come again. But listen, they say to have you back. We'll find another topic to have you back because I really want to say to you as your abroad sister, living abroad sister, you'll never be the same. I don't care if you don't return abroad, you'll never think the same. I recommend people who are rigid, good girls, people who need a rebirth or just to heal your body. Like you said, reset your nervous system. When you get off of this grid, something shifts inside of you and you have access to yourself. We are so distracted over here, and it's so easy to get onto automatic. Even if you are an entrepreneur, it's so easy to get to it, to automatic. You'll
Post that,
never be the same.
post that right there on the bottom. Post that right, that last thing I just wrote. Click that. Click that. I
Oh,
can't unsee what I saw. I
yes,
can't unfeel what I felt.
that's right.
So this is why I'm so enthusiastic about the next mushrooms I'm doing and the next Bufo I'm doing. I'm
Okay.
so excited because people are asking me, what am I going to do next? My answer is, ask me after I make these next 2 journeys, because I'm biblical. Proverbs 3:5, I'm a reverend too. People don't know I got my own church. God First Universal Temple Healing Ministries. This is your boy, Reverend O.U. Son. But Proverbs 3:5, lean not on your own understanding. Lean not on your own understanding. No, 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 no. Don't do that. When the medicine get in me and I get back, I'm going to set my intention, because at this point, I can live anywhere in Southeast Asia I want, but I will be in Bali for 90 days minimum the rest of my life because of my connection to the land. I do have a family there. No, I ain't got nobody pregnant, y'all. It was the driest time of my life sexually, but it's okay.
Okay,
And
TMI.
I know, but I just want to throw this out there. Y'all can throw recommendations out, but I would like to do relationships and medicine if I come back, because I'm big
Okay.
relationships. Because if I was to do, my ideal mushroom ceremony is with couples. Really, 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 really. It was because
Recommend it. It has been a big when we have needed it, and we, for some reason, we just couldn't get to a traditional count. Something wouldn't let us. You're absolutely right. Ceremony did. But listen, I do close out the show in a certain way. You did your closing. Y'all know my brother long winded. This is the longest show I've ever done. Did and did. We did that. But I normally ask a series of questions to close out the show, Spirit told me with you to do something a little different. So I pull ancestral medicine cards. And so while you were talking, I pulled to ask what energy did we want to leave on, what message to leave on for you. And we cannot make this stuff up. Everybody in the rebirth community, we got a saying, cannot make this ish up. How come I pulled the medicine woman?
hold it higher, hold it higher, hold it higher,
For
hold it
you.
higher.
Yeah, but I gotta get it. Otherwise, if I hold it
Okay,
higher,
okay,
you won't
okay.
get it. I'll ease it up. The medicine woman. And her
Ooh.
message in closing is, you are flowing with what's natural for you. She says, on the waking path, you are attuned to nature. On the sleeping path, you might be a little controlling. But she says, all praises to the medicine woman. This is what all praises to the medicine woman. You can take something troubling and turn it into medicine with your understanding of nature. You see the magic of nature and thus are aware that whatever comes into being will one day cease to exist. Your understanding of this mystery of life helps you to see when things have gone awry. You have existed through centuries and have gathered wisdom of many lifetimes. And because we know you so well from ancient times, we recognize you and are often at your feet in soul pain. When you are on the sleeping path, you may find yourself trying to control everyone and everything around you. This is not just for Oyi, y'all. This is for the energy in the room. Okay? You are trying to create nature rather than discover nature. This can bring you personal discomfort and agitation as you attempt to control what ails you. Controlling eliminates your attunement to what is natural for you, keeping you searching for remedies from everyone but yourself. There's more, but I want to close this show out because we could keep going. This has been, but this is a special day. We are closing out on this.
Say your daddy's name, girl. Say your daddy's name. Give him a shout out. Call his name out. Give your daddy. Say his name.
Bye bye to new Dennis Taylor Jr. Bye bye to new Dennis Taylor Jr. Bye bye.
You know, this is his birthday. The day of ascension is the heavenly birthday. So you have your earthly birthday. So the day of his ascension. So burn him some ancestor money. You got it covered.
Yeah, I'm not already.
For those of you who don't know, you burn ancestor money for your ancestors on their day of ascension.
Yes. So I also want to invite you all to join me this Sunday. Every first Sunday, join me for Rebirth Sunday. It's a safe place for those like us, because we've been the Not Like Us crew for a long time. This is not new for many of you. You've been not like us. So Rebirth Sunday is, I call you the tribe of the free. You do not have to be out there navigating alone. This is an important season for us to be in community. It's an important season for us to be with people who are like us, because they not like us. And we're going to see a lot of they not like us energy, because and Oyi went right into it when he came in. He said, some of these people basically are not human. Y'all think everybody is of the same species. And so some of the experiences we're witnessing and being revealed, there's a lot of energy that we're moving right now. And hey, healers, get off the fence. It's time to show up, to show out. Stop hiding. This is the good time to be you. And so I hope that this shift talk on this solar eclipse served you to consider that you are the medicine. The last thing I want to say to you all is, we talked about the psychedelics, but the truth is your thyme, your basil is plant medicine. Your coconut water is plant medicine. So plant medicine is not just psychedelics, y'all. It is also, it's you, sister, learning how to become the medicine woman in your lab, which is your kitchen. It is the thing that can break spells, curses. This is also Hoodoo Heritage Month. Get into it. This is Hoodoo Heritage Month. This is Creole Heritage Month. So, honey, peace and blessings to Esra Zuli and the goddesses, the Haitian goddesses, and all of this, and that because this is our season. So I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. I'll see you all on the other side. Please subscribe to the channel. Join us for Rebirth Sunday. All of the links to Oyi is in the comment section. Oyi, you can stop trying to direct them because they're going to find you anyway. And all of his information is there. Y'all, he ready. He coming into the States. He ready. So, but I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for dialoguing, and keep it come into the comments and talk to you. Ciao, everyone. You don't have to go anywhere.